consciousness is not in your skull. I'm going to emphasize this again. The content of your consciousness is not coming from the brain. Your intention is a reflection of your consciousness. We are Christ. We're Krishna. We're Buddha. We are meant to be masters and avatars. We are playing around by kindergarten standards. We better rise our levels of consciousness because we are meant to be Christ consciousness. Our limitations are none. We've just self-imposed them.
Nisha, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, good to be with you, Guy. Good morning to you in Australia.
It certainly is. It certainly is. I like to start the show and asking all my guests the same question. But I always find it sparks a great conversation anyway, is that if you were at an intimate dinner party right now and they were all strangers and you sat next to someone and they asked you what you did for a living, what would you be saying?
I'm a seeker of truth. Talk about as nebulous and vague as you can get, but really it's true. I'm a scientist, a medical doctor, but ultimately I really want to know what human beings are capable of. That's
Wow.
really my whole motivation.
Love it. And the first thing I would ask there actually is, have we strayed from the truth or have we just not discovered the full truth?
I think it's a bit of both. I think we have strayed away because we've become enamored with technology. We've become enamored with convenience. We've become enamored also with quick fixes. And Homo sapiens are much more than convenience. We have such latent capacities that's our real work. That's our real work of living, of being here on Earth. And that was the whole discovery for me with the physics. And it was so immense that I wrote this book, Bridging Science and Spirit. And it turned me inside out, upside down and inside out. So we have strayed away because we've put all our emphasis on technology and we've forgotten what we really are, what we are really capable of. Yeah.
How much do you think we are capable of?
Yeah. Very good question. We are reflecting all the time our consciousness. What is essential is invisible to the eye. What is essential is invisible to the eye. This line is actually from Le Petit Prince, the book, The Little Prince, by Antoine-Exupéry. I was reading it the other day. What is essential is invisible to the eye, which means consciousness is everything. But here's the thing, we don't have a definition of what it is. But we can say what consciousness does. It operates through intention. It's a tool. So me, Nisha, showing up today to be with Guy is my intention to be present and my intention to communicate. And the symbols I use are language, English in this case, and my gestures. Okay. So what is invisible is very essential. In medicine, and I'm a medical doctor, I'm a rheumatologist, we have left that complete aspect of what a human is totally on the side. Totally. What do we do every day in medicine? We analyze material things, in this case, the body, because we can see it. And yet I tell you, the more magnificent part of the human is the invisible conscious realms. But we don't give words to it, very little. Okay, so my book dives there and I think bridges the gap from the material science to this aspect of consciousness. that invisible realm. And he takes different shades, the content of consciousness is many, many things. You have the content of consciousness of willingness. We're here willing. My consciousness is always analyzing. I'm analytical, okay? Consciousness of the heart. We want to serve people willingly. We're Thanksgiving today in the United States. I'm thankful to be with Guy. And it is also a day to come together and acknowledge the gifts that we have with each other, relationships. So that content of consciousness plays out today. So consciousness is always there, unbounded. There's one big disruption in my book. Consciousness is not in your skull. It's not the brain. I'm going to emphasize this again. The content of your consciousness is not coming from the brain. The brain is a perceptual tool. It's an organ. Beautiful, amazing organ. You can pump it by meditation and contemplation and good things, good books, good music, arts, math. And like a biceps, you can, I use a dumbbell to pump up my bicep and I build it up. Like that, you can build up your brain in certain ways. That's all. It's a wonderful organ, but consciousness it doesn't come from it. It's a perceptual organ.
Love it.
I've said a lot already.
No, I love it. This is amazing. Y- what occurs to me there as well is thinking back to us, we don't give enough weight, like you said, the medical establishment are not even looking at it.
No.
Why do you think that is? Is it because if it's not seen, it doesn't exist? Is that the mentality we have right now? Or is it because of we are so immersed in technology and the left side brain and the thinking mind and this problem solving that we disconnect ourselves from it? So we never give ourselves the
Yes.
time to build that relationship with it. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't need any convincing because I have a relationship with it.
Yes. So this is such an important question. And I actually, my book has 7 pillars. In the very first pillar, I asked this question. Medicine is stuck in chemistry. It's stuck in analyzing and then giving chemicals to fix it. Why is it like that? What is the tradition in medicine that has put us down this pathway? Very firmly so, okay? And we make big holes because we're sort of muddling around with more molecules and chemicals all the time. It's a very limited way of thinking. I think there are multiple reasons. One is you mentioned the technology. I can't tell you how many times at the bedside I teach medicine, and the students will say, the MRI and the x ray showed. And I say, wait. What is the clinical question? What is this patient all about? Who is the human behind the MRI? Who is the human behind this chest film? Who is the human behind the sodium and the potassium and all of those things that we keep doing? And they have never dived there. So it's very easy to become mesmerized with this knowledge, and knowledge will fool you. It is very limited. We have never asked the question, who is this human? To even take a moment, breathe, shake their hand, look them in the eye, and say hello. Do you know how many times we rush in and out? Looking at, I've seen your results, and barely looking at the patient. So there is that technology, this knowledge base based on the body. We're so mesmerized by this body and its functions, and it's very real. We make it so real because we can measure it. We can put a tape measure, we can put scales on it, we can put a thermometer in it. So it's very, very tangible. And so you mentioned the other thing, consciousness, intention are invisible. But I tell you that in bridging science and spirit, there's no question in my mind, looking at the physics of these things, that has more power. And that is what regulates the body, not the other way around.
Mm.
And once we teach our patients that, once we show them that their consciousness and their intention is so important in their healing, now they have a chance to take charge. Until then, they're going to say, "Tell me what to do, doctor." I tell them, "Yeah, of course, here's a script." But I now have changed my practice to really understand their real challenges, where their consciousness is, and actually to look at their fears. To look at their fears, yeah. Because it's hidden in all the anxieties, all of their stories, it runs in my family type of thing. And you have to stop and give the space to hear them out.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen very often at all.
When it's how medicine is set up.
Yeah.
It's the system. It has not served the patient and it has not served the doctor. We're burning out in record numbers.
Wow.
We're burning in the United States, I would say, there's been a lot of work now. 1 in 2. And I think it's higher, actually. It's higher than that.
That's incredible.
More doctors committing suicide, addictive behaviors, and burning out. Okay? You look very surprised, Guy, but it's a fact.
Wow. I don't see that world very often as well. So, I'm just removed for it. And I have no doubt as well for the people I've met, everybody comes in intentionally with the right
Oh, we want
moral
to heal?
compass.
Yes.
We want to
Yes.
heal, right? I believe that in everyone. But
Yes.
then I think
Absolutely.
it's the system itself that's not supporting
No.
the progress.
The system is mechanized, technology, robotic. We're clicking boxes, and we've forgotten that beautiful human, the human that has the capacities of immense achievements. And that's where I come into Tiller's work. Here I am in an amazing medical center. You might have heard of Mayo Clinic in the United States. It's probably the number one clinic in the world. It rates very high in the top
Wow.
1 to 2. Okay. And so here I and I pick up one of his physics papers, and he's writing in medical journals, and the paper titles themselves are so impossible. But I was so interested in the human biofield because I'm doing chemistry, and I knew there's something more to this human body. I can't dissect. When I dissect, I see nerves and muscles, but I know that there's energetic systems too. We just don't dissect. We can't see it. It's invisible. But how do we get our arms around this question? So I'm looking at the literature, nothing much in medicine, and I stumbled into Bill Tiller's work. And I can tell you, I couldn't understand his papers, but it grabbed me so much I couldn't let go. And I walked away from an immense career. Everything is set, prestige. I'm a
Wow.
professor. I've got schedules. I teach and I lecture, and it's very famous. And I told you I'm a seeker of the truth, and I felt that Tiller was onto something so great. I couldn't put words to it, but my intuition here, I had to just go and look at it, and
So
I
what
walked away.
so Will it was William Teller your bridge from the science into the spirituality?
Actually,
There's
the spirituality has always been with me, and
okay.
it was missing in medicine. It's something we don't talk about. We don't talk about prayer. We don't talk about consciousness. We don't talk about intention in healing. And yet they're so fundamental to us as human species. So I was really feeling a bit starved until I ran into his work and I went, whoa, this is science. And he's talking about something that addresses the human biofield, but he's doing something more. And that's when I contacted him. Yeah, that's when, and, I thought, whoa, I mean, yeah.
And how
And
old
now
is
I
he?
look back and I think, my God, I mean,
Yeah.
what did I do? What did I do? It was fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
So when did you contact him and how old is he? Like how long has he been looking at this work?
Yeah. I contacted him around 2009, and it took several months. He's now 92.
Oh,
He's retired in Arizona. He used to be William Tiller was a professor of physics at Stanford University. in California, a giant. I mean, this man has immense science background. I mean, at Stanford University, chairman for over 35 years. He has patents and, hundreds, if not thousands of papers to his name in the conventional science. What's ingenious with Tiller, and this is what I got immediately when I first met him. What's really fascinating about Tiller is that not only he has the scientific background, the mathematical background, but he also has the meditative structure. He has been meditating daily for 1 to 2 hours without fail for 50 to 60 years. So when I met him in Scottsdale, Arizona, I was terrified of meeting this giant. I thought, oh my God, it's like meeting Einstein. What do you ask somebody like Einstein for a dinner? I was really scared. And yet this man is like, let me give an analogy. I met His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It felt like I was meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama, except this Dalai Lama happens to know math.
Wow.
He knows science, and he knows it from his bones, okay? He makes new math, he makes new protocols. He is the chairman of Stanford. So, wow, I thought he has made two things, science and spirit, totally joined. They're inseparable in his life, inseparable. In medicine, we've never paid attention to the spiritual world. We've paid attention to the body, the mechanism of the body, but this other part was missing. And in his world, they're inseparable. I thought, wow, 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 tell me more. Because physics can inform medicine in a unique way, in a fresh way. We need a new paradigm, for God's sakes. And he gave it to me. He actually refused to work with me in the beginning. He says, you don't know physics. I'm a physician. He's a physicist. How do we meet in the middle? How are we going to even have a conversation? I told you I couldn't understand his papers, but I was so committed. And he, out of the blue, he said, no, 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 thank you. After the dinner, no, 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 go back to Mayo. And out of the blue, he called me and he says, I've been thinking about your proposal to come and study, that I could help you understand the physics. He says, if you can translate some of my physics for your colleagues in medicine, then I think I can work with you. But there is one prerequisite. And I said, what is it? What is your condition? I was all ears. I was excited, actually. And he says, you must meditate every day. I will not work with you unless you become familiar with your own mind. He didn't say it quite like that. But when I look back, that he was trying to say something to me, that we have a whole cloud of unknowing, of chaos, neurotic lifestyles. And I bring my own special brand of neurosis. I had certain programs, my medicine, my training into the world of physics. And he says, it's okay, but you need to become familiar with your own momentum. And once you can know that, then you have a chance to move forward. You can leave certain things, but I cannot tell you that. You must learn those lessons. It was a big gift to me to make that meditate.
That's incredible because that's a message there for everyone, isn't it? That we are
It's
so
it's one
caught
of
up
the
in our own stories, our own clouds,
yeah,
our own fears, our own judgments, our own self-worth, and it's all we can transcend that to observe it.
absolutely become a witness.
Mm.
And at first you get very scared of this monkey mind. But what I teach my patients, if I may share with you, is close the door, close your eyes, close your ears. Nothing fancy. Put your hands down, close your eyes, close your ears. Close the door means to the outer world, and then breathe. At the bedside, I actually teach them breathe in, breathe out. Now, shift your awareness down to your heart center. I tap them on the center of the chest. And for about 5 minutes, we both rest there. Our awareness is on the heart. We're not trying to control anything, force anything, but together we share something quite immense. And when they open their eyes, you know what they say? Thank you. I feel good. Or even silence. Let's move into silence. Silence. Be silent. It's the greatest gift we can give to each other, to ourselves, to the universe. We belong to the universal family. And if we can just be quiet,
Mm.
yeah. So I teach this. We just did this exercise, and Guy, I must say, it's really hard actually to talk to you. It's very natural for me to actually go into silence very quickly, actually. So I thank Tiller for saying, please, if I'm to work with you, meditate, because you will get, he actually said later on, it'll take time for you to get rid of your crap. Take time to get rid of your crap. Every day those stacks come up, to be resolved. The
Mm-hmm.
fears, the neurosis. I do telemedicine. It's COVID-19. The clinics are shutting and closing and opening and closing. In California, there's a new lockdown. It's the highest level, actually. We count masks and no Thanksgiving celebrations. I mean, it's really an order from our governor. And so I think this is a great gift in a sense for me to become silent. It's a big meditation to uh, to connect in a new way to my patients through the camera. So these lessons uh, are fresh and vital. Okay, they're not old. They're fresh and vital for this age. It's adaptable.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, with all your teachings from William
Yes.
since 2009, is that what then you compiled to then put into this book, essentially?
This book, yeah, is essentially the major themes of Dr. Tiller's work. I used to meet with him every Thursday for 2 hours in Scottsdale. From Mayo in Minnesota, I moved to Arizona literally overnight.
Oh,
I told
wow.
you I walked away and I went into no job, nothing. I was in this immense environment to an empty apartment, air bed for my bed, and a stack of physics books. And I said, I want to know how he did this. What he did was, what he did was this. He said, he's a material scientist, okay? He's a physicist, absolutely fantastic. And he knows lab science like easy. He says, can my intention change property of a material out there? And he chose the material water. And water is neutral. And he says, in his intention means an aim, a resolve to do something. Okay. So his intention was, let me test it out. Can my intention, my thinking change the pH of water? Just that. And he says, let's do it in lab conditions. So imagine you, Guy, and me, Nisha, trying to change pH of water with our thinkingness. Can it be done? That's essentially what he was asking. And he says, I don't know if the protocol will work, but we should try it. And he wrote out the intention. That's the other secret. He made an intention, very chiseled. He wrote it out. Then he held it in mind in a meditative way. So when Nisha holds an intention, it used to be bounce back and forth. I change my mind, everything else crouch. Now the intentions are taking root. And I also realized a lot of intentions were needless. I didn't want a new car. I didn't, those things would come up. I want this, but actually the intention is I want to heal my patient. I want to give my best for my patient XYZ. I literally now, my intentions have taken on a different flavor. But for Tiller, at the time in the 1990s when he was doing his experiments at Stanford, was, can my intention change the pH of water? And he did it. And this is what I was getting from his paper, that he was successful. Imagine changing a material property with just your thoughts. No chemical additions, no electric, putting little electrodes in water. You can do all kinds of things to water, but with just your thought alone, to change the material property reliably, measurably, I was shocked. I didn't believe it. I was shocked. I
Wow.
said, it can't be true, because then it changes everything. Then we're on a second revolution of science, an epoch. Nobody knows him. Why not? If he has done this immense work, I think it's because I mentioned nobody understands him. It's hard to follow equations, and he created new language for a higher. He says we're just accessing a higher level of nature. It's there all the time. Now you're linked. So what he discovered, if I may share with you, not only is intention very powerful, it's very powerful. Thinkingness is very powerful. If you are meditative and you are very resolute, it has great power. But there was something very immense he discovered in his intention experiments, and that is the space of the lab itself changed. If I can give you an example, and let's do a little experiment, Guy. When you are in your home, and if you are to close your eyes and your ears and you're in your kitchen, does it feel differently than your bedroom, than your living room, than your bathroom? All of those spaces in your own home have different feeling. So if I close my eyes and ears and go to my room and I keep it all, I have no sensory input, and you put me in my living room, I'll say it feels different. I know it's this space, is this space.
Mm.
So when I went to Tiller's labs for the first time in Arizona, it felt like I was standing in a cathedral.
Wow.
It felt like I was standing in sacred space because it felt restful. When I'm in a church or a temple, I go there to meditate. I could go into a restful state very quickly. And I remarked that to him. I said, this doesn't feel like a lab. All these meters and computers and books spilling all over. This is not a physics lab. And he chuckled. He says, that's it. That's the clue. And so in Bridging Science and Spirit, I go into space conditioning. In science, we have talked about different dimensions, and we go to a forest to tap into nature. It's a different dimension. It is a higher dimension. And those higher dimensions are in the body. Those higher dimensions are inside of you. It's a mirror symmetry. Those higher dimensions are the acupuncture system, are the chakra system. They're already inbuilt in us. That's why we feel enlivened and charged up. It's the spark plug inside of us. You know, and that was really amazing, something really fascinating to show the evidence that our body has the energy and the informational structures already
It's
within it.
already there.
It's
We-
already there.
And that's incredible. And that then no one is, it doesn't matter who you are, what qualifications you got, or what you think about yourself. We all have this already within us. We just got to learn how to access it
Yes.
again
Yes. And have faith in it.
and have
Be
faith in it. Yeah.
consistent. Have faith in it. You don't need chemistry all the time. You can become creators. If Tiller can change the pH of water in his lab, what can you and I do?
Well, that was going to be my next question is how how powerful do you think intention is, and how much of it is actually affecting the life that we are currently living, and what is happening within it per se?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do I answer this question? There's many in there, but I'll tell you, let's focus on energy, because energy is like a law of nature, right? It's
Hmm.
the energy is the currency. We want energy to in the food we eat, energy so I can move my arms. Energy is a universal currency. Tiller showed that in his physics that intention is a source of free energy to do work. Intention is a source of energy that changed that pH of water. Where did that energy come from? Where's that subtle energy come from? Not only is it inside of you, I told you that's the real pump, the subtle energy pump that drives the muscles, the nerve, the digestive juices, the brain cells to go into gear. It's the acupuncture and chakra systems. That's the pump. And in the space has innumerable energies. And once you are a very coherent human being, you're tapping into that. That's what temples and cathedrals do. That's why we go there and we rest and we recharge. Okay. In ancient India, that's what temples did. We weren't going there to worship. We would go there and lie down and be recharged. And that is inexhaustible. The physical vacuum or the space that we call it, I call it space because we need a common language, but space is a good one for now. Then that space is full of latent energies. The pinky of your fingertip, guy, can light up all of Chicago. That much energy is there. I'm giving you very rough analogies, but that's the truth.
I've heard Nassim speak about that as
Taleb?
well.
Yeah. Okay. I know of him a little bit, but yeah, he's right. And
Wow.
physics will have done calculations where a single hydrogen atom has enough latent energy in one hydrogen atom that can boil the whole oceans, right? There's some mathematics to show that. Yes. And I give an example in the book too.
Wow.
So the quantum world, hydrogen atom, and the cosmic world, relativity, are united.
Hmm. And that's what we're doing with intention, uniting them.
Absolutely. You're uniting the inner with the outer, but it's the inner work that is the most important. I said, what is essential is invisible to the eye. Your consciousness beats lifestyle every single time. Raise your consciousness, raise
S-
it.
So, with that much potential I've always in my mind called it the 0 point field, right?
You brought up my favorite topic, and I actually write about it.
Or do you?
I do in my book. Absolutely, I do. And I'll tell you, yeah, I'll let you finish about your 0 point field and
So,
I'll give you my perspective.
okay, so I was gonna the question I was gonna ask if we are essentially part of it and it's part of us and we're all part of the cosmos and this subtle energy potential is
Yes,
sitting there waiting to be tapped in by us.
yes.
With our own intentionality we direct in life, how far do you think we can take it? What is our potential with our intention?
Beautiful, beautiful. I like your question. I addressed that too. I said there's shades of consciousness, and your intention is a reflection of your consciousness. Okay. And Tiller is a consciousness of the heart. He does things, it moves and manifests. We are Christ, we're Krishna, we're Buddha. We are meant to be masters and avatars. We are playing around by kindergarten standards. It's enough. We now need to let go of the obstacles and reliance on artificial intelligence and technology. It will serve us. It's nice and comfortable, but we better rise our levels of consciousness because we are meant to be Christ consciousness. Our limitations are none. We've just self-imposed them. It's just like a mirror that's all dirty.
Hmm. Yeah.
Christ consciousness, my friend. So we're not just Homo sapiens, analytical beings. We're Homo spiritus, Homo universalis, brotherhood of man. We're meant to live together in cooperation, in helpfulness, because through relationships we grow in consciousness. And we have attracted every relationship into our life, bar none. Every one of them. Whether you label it good, whether you label it horrible, you have created this. Unconsciously, perhaps, but you have created. And the more we are responsible and see it, then we can choose again. Until then, you can be a victim of whatever you want to be. Just stop being a victim and see the relationships for what they are. They're real gifts, actually.
Yeah. Nisha, it really brings home for me because I spent a large part of my life caught in my own story, my own lack of self-worth, my own belief
Yes,
systems, and really struggled to find my own identity. And the moment I learned what we're talking about and learned to start to give that up and sit beyond it and start to observe and start to move through it, and then it allowed me to really start to see the gifts in everything that we have. And the moment I saw the gifts we have and then actually become part of service to supporting others to see the gifts within themselves too, my life took on a whole new direction i-
exactly, exactly,
in ways I could never imagine.
exactly.
And it came from
But
a
you
place
had
of
to
feeling at
release those
peace.
patterns. You released
Yeah,
them.
100%, 100%. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work now, because once you go through the hero's journey yourself, whatever that
Yes,
looks like, you
yes,
really start to feel it and see it with others and where they're at, and can want to nudge them along to become that observer and see the gifts within themselves. You know?
exactly. So, we become aware of our own identifications.
Yes.
And once you do that, then you can choose again. It's like Master Jesus saying, "Come, my brother, choose again." He never resisted anything. If you really look at Jesus's teachings, he never resisted anything. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. You are going to really account for the soul of man. That is essential. That is the indestructible. The other things will die into dust. But your consciousness and the lessons you learn in this lifetime will always, that's your gift. That's why I say, move into the silence, be still and know that I am God. And once you even, and that's a good contemplative practice to, if you've got so many clouds, just go into contemplating every day a little spiritual truth and it'll come. You can release the patterns are seen for what they are, then you have a chance to release them. That's the beauty about spiritual tools. Science won't go there. Science will keep changing. Take this aspirin, take Tylenol tomorrow. This has too many things, side effects. So we'll have new technology. It's all fine and good. But I think spirituality, you lean into it, it'll serve you well. It's timeless. Those truths are timeless.
Totally.
And that's where Tiller bridges both. In his science, he says, can I test my consciousness? And he showed that consciousness is capable of so much. And I discuss these things in my book. It's just we don't have time. But I can tell you, Tiller is an incredible human and he's Homo spiritus. He's not a Homo sapiens anymore. He has shown the gift that, and he says, if I can do this, then I would like your colleagues to wake up. I want fellow humankind to wake up. Because they're avatars, they're just sleeping. We
Right.
we we can't be sleeping much more.
No, I was going to say it's time for us all to really wake up.
Pick up, raise the seas, and all the corks float higher. So all my work, your work, Guy, is never ever lost. I may be long gone. There is a finite time I have on this planet Earth. But what do I leave behind? That awareness and that compassion and that Nisha's consciousness leaves its imprint in the field and it's indestructible. That's why I say be careful of what you create, you know? Be
Absolutely.
responsible. Take ownership for it. Then that's good. It's not a bad thing. It's wonderful. Create good things. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I'm curious with your own personal life, what kind of practices do you kind of have or do that support this work and allow your consciousness to evolve as we go through life?
Yeah. Spend time in silence. Right now, for the end of 2020, I am contemplating one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 91. And Psalm 91 speaks directly to the book number 2 that I'm writing, which is Psalm 91. It starts with, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. He that, not he who, he that, that's the formless quality of your consciousness. If it abides in the heart center, you're always under the protection of the great field of love. These are my interpretations. You can have your own, but that's my reflection. And as you contemplate Psalm 91, it says, And he shall give his angels charge over thee to bear thee up in their arms, lest thy dash thy foot against a stone. So we have divine guidance all the time. It's omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. So my contemplative daily practice holds me steady. And in that silence and contemplative practice, we did that practice of closing the door, closing the eyes, closing the ears, and being silent. I do that several times a day, actually. I just, I go into my room, I close the door, and I'll sit for 10, 20 minutes. My family's very used to this, that she's gone. And I sit quietly, and they do too. They have their own practices. So whatever serves you well, find it. But the breath and putting your awareness on the center of your chest will get you there. It's very powerful.
That took a long time for it to land for me as a male, but once I got it, um, yeah, there's no going back. That's
So
for
you
sure.
you share with me what you practice, Guy.
So every morning, I do it before podcasts like this. I do it
Mm-hmm.
before I'm bringing something intentionally in. So if I'm intentionally starting my day, if I'm intentionally bringing my presence, like you said, to a podcast,
Yes.
I normally just put my fingers on my heart. I bring my awareness to my heart. Imagine my breath breathing in and out of my heart. And
Yes.
then I'll also while I'm doing that, I start to scan the body and just see if I got tension, if I'm holding tension, what's my body trying to let me
Mhm.
know.
Yes.
And then from that place, I will slow down. Then I allow myself to just feel the beat of my heart. I feel into the
Yes.
heart. And then I feel the energy expand instantly. And I
Yes.
feel my heart expand instantly.
Yes.
Then while my awareness is still there, I'll either bring for an intention forward for the day, or like I do for every single podcast. My intention is always to hold space, connect with the guest, allow whatever to be said from the heart needs to be said from the heart and words spoken,
Yeah.
and with my listeners in mind to have the best experience possible from when listening later. That will help them in some way. So that's the intention I set every time.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
And sometimes I ask a question that I don't have answers to and go
Yes.
there and
Yes.
then wait and then go about my day and then something lands. Oh, well, always at
It
some
always
stage.
lands. Yes. When I was writing Bridging Science and Spirit, I'm not a physicist, so there were difficult times, and I took on an immense project to translate this man's physics for the world. Many, many people says we just don't understand him, but we know, like I had the intuition he has something very crucial to contribute. And this is science that contributes to human evolution in a very real way. It's talking about evolution in consciousness, and he's speaking directly to it. So at times, Guy, I was so I was really fearful that I wouldn't get the right paper or reference, and my editor would give me a real tough time. She says, I don't believe this, you know. And I prayed, I need the right paper or the right reference and science to bolster what I am saying here. And I would let it go, release it, let it go. And wouldn't you know it, every single time, it's like, I'm sure I've done the search on yesterday, and then I prayed over it. And yes, I was answered. I was answered. And, I was like a witness to the writing of this book. Honestly, there's Lord Shiva
Wow.
shows up, Swami Yogananda shows up, scripture shown up, Padre Pio of Italy. I can't tell you. I sometimes think, I don't know. This is occurring, and I would write it, you know? But I know that Nisha was a witness to it. It's the best way I can say. I didn't have a conscious output, this and this. Yes, I had the greater idea of a bridge. There are 7 pillars, and Tiller's model absolutely goes into spirit. And I give confirmation that, yeah, this science is true. I have no question about it. Thank goodness for my editor. She would press my buttons. I want more data here. Show me more. And I prayed over it.
Amazing. Who who is your book written for? Is it written for everyone? Is it written in layman's? Is it written for the physician that really needs to get the
Yeah, it's a
data
good
in?
question. I purposely made it for the layperson. So there's 7 pillars, and it takes the reader, and they're really fun essays, you might say, each brick of an idea, pillar 1, pillar 2, all the way to 7, and each idea builds your knowledge, and you walk across the bridge, right up to spirits. You get the knowledge that Tiller was trying to say in a very, very coherent way. And the nicest thing I think about bridging science and spirit was I doodle a lot. I'm a very visual learner and thinker. And so I converted those doodles into art, into publishable art. So each idea is illustrated. So it has more than 60 illustrations.
Mhm.
And many readers write and say, this is the best. It is so fun and whimsical. It is whimsical. I have an Italian artist, graphic designer in Milan, Dario, and he converted my art into beautiful, fun. Sometimes I couldn't believe what he came up with. I said, I'm trying to draw this, and I put a graph and this. I mean, I told you I'm very analytical and a visual thinker, and he would come up with something, and I thought, wow. So you'll chuckle. A lot of people are saying, my God, and I invented things. Homo jubitat. We are skeptical, doubting species. That's how we operate. That's rational science. And that has been a big gift, but now it's an impediment. We must have faith. We have to leave the doubt behind and move forward with faith. We're really ripe for it. But anyway, so the book was a lot of fun. It's for everyone. So medical colleagues have picked it up, and they write to me on LinkedIn, and they say, my God, this is true. I can really see, for the first time, we see how the bridge from subtle energies, consciousness, intention, you are right. We are ready to move ahead from just chemical medicine. So colleagues of mine have picked it up. So many lay
Amazing.
people, students, medical students. So it's been a big gift to really enlarge the conversation. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I truly look forward to reading it. I really do.
Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful. I got a couple of questions on the show that I ask everyone, if that's
Mhm.
okay. And I feel I need to ask this one because I'll be interested what comes out before we wrap it up. But what's been a low point in your life that has later become a blessing?
I'm by nature a very optimistic person, and I really am tenacious, and I think that's my intention. So every part of my life, I I've actually turned it around. I haven't. So when I left Kenya, I'm from Kenya. I was born and raised in Africa, and I didn't have much schooling when I was little. And I left when I was 16 or 17 and went out into the big world and
Wow.
really made, and my family wasn't even aware that I was going for medical school. They thought I was the crazy person. So from this, feeling of, you shouldn't be doing schooling. It's not for girls. I said, I'm going to do it anyway. So that you could call it a low point, but it was a springboard to always reach to my capacity and keep reaching, doing physics, reach more, write a book, reach more. What are we going to do next? I'm working on book number 2, that relationship of the divine and one physicist. That's Dr. Tillery. And I actually realize it's a big clue, another one, and I'm writing on that. So, yeah, it's to
Amazing.
always, yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah,
from Kenya to Mayo Clinic, people say, "Wow, the hell did you end up here?"
I love it. Like for somebody that has a lot of stillness in your life, you have a lot of go-getting energy as well, and I really get the feeling that nothing's going to get in your way once you make up your
No.
mind. You're,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
incredible. Um, Last question, and I ask everyone is, with everything we've covered today on the show, is there anything you'd like to leave the listeners to ponder on?
What is essential is invisible to the eye. You're a big gift. Each and every one of your listeners is an immense child of this cosmos, that they're loved, whatever their challenges might be, and to know that, and to ponder that, and to move into that silence and hold that. And they will be given the next step to realize it, to realize it. Yeah.
Beautiful. And for everyone that wants to get your book, it's available everywhere. I'm guessing
It's
Amazon.
on Amazon. I'm a self published author. And the reason I did that was I wanted to get it into the hands of Dr. Tiller, who's now 92. And so a publishing house would have been very interested in this, but I wanted to get it into his hands. So it's on Amazon. Okay. So Amazon Australia, it's on ebook, print on demand, and audio. I just released the audio version last month. Yes.
Congrats.
And it's
Amazing.
been number 1 many times. I always check here and there, and I think, wow, wow. On intention, acupuncture, those categories, it hits number 1 several times now. So it's done well. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
been fun. Like I said, it speaks to a lot of people. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Well, for everyone listening, as always, everything will be in the show notes so they can pause this and scroll down and check it out. But it's easier than ever now to get a book to you, whether, like you say, it's in digital, in
Yes.
audio, in physical. It's all there, so I certainly recommend it. And Nisha, I just want to thank you for your energy, your enthusiasm, your passion, and everything. It just flies across the screen. It's incredible, and yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah. It's a very happy Thanksgiving, Guy, for having me. It's been a real fun time. It's been fun.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Big namaste.